As I wanted to put this new series of bug out bag video together, I wanted to start out by just covering the 10 C's of survivability that Dave Canterbury came up with. I want to use that as a core and then expand outward into this bug out bag. First C that I wanted to go over is the cutting tool. And I have the cutting tools that I want to put in the bag here on my table. I'm going to show them to you one at a time here in just a second. My first and primary cutting tool would be this right here, which is the Cold Steel SRK. But this is the one in the 3V Super Steel. This thing just came out not too long ago, and it's becoming really popular. This isn't the one that has the black diamond hard coating. This is the new one that has the like the sandblasted finish, but it's still the 3V Super Steel. This thing is one of the toughest knives in the world when it came, before they even made that steel for it. So I believe it would hold up under most heavy use. Second cutting tool I was going to talk about is this one right here. This is just the basic Mora companion. I got it in black, but this is razor sharp right out of the box. A lot tougher than people would use. I'd probably make a neck knife out of this or carry it around. But this would be a backup knife to the Cold Steel. Next one is pretty much my EDC. This is my Victorinox Swiss Army Hercules. This thing is one of the best Swiss Army knives I think they make. It has all the tools I need on it. It has a very nice, good sized blade, and this thing's pretty darn sharp. It's seen a lot of use. It has a wood saw, and it's a bigger wood saw than the little ones. This is a much larger Swiss Army knife than some of the other ones. But this is a very nice wood saw all by itself. And this back of this thing is great for striking a ferro rod. It's got, it's small, but they've got, there's pliers in it, and they're not really good for like bolts and stuff. But what I got it, the reason I wanted it, this is great for taking like hot things off a fire. This has got scissors, and these are nice scissors too. It's got two Phillips screwdriver heads. It's got two straight screwdriver heads. It's got, of course, the awl, which is useful for. It's even got the eyelet, so you could sew with it if you had to. It's got the corkscrew, which, believe it or not, is actually good. You can use this for like undoing knots, and you can wrap around and use it as a toggle to pull with. It's got, of course, the toothpick, and it's got the pliers. Or not the pliers, but the tweezers, just like all Swiss Army knives. And of course, I would have my grandfather's knife, the knife he gave me. This is the Opinel number 8. This one has seen a lot of use, and it's old as beat up, but it's still got a really good edge on it. Back of this is also squared off for striking a ferro rod. This is like I said, you can see the patina on that thing. It's been through quite a bit. And then for larger tasks, I would have this right here, which is the Cold Steel Frontier Hawk. Good thing about this is it doesn't weigh as much as an axe, but it does have quite a bit of capability. You can take this off if you lose the handle and just remake it, and not to mention the fact this is a lot lighter than most hatchets or axes you would find. It comes with a great mask for it. And in my bag, I'd probably take this off and store it like this right here. And then the last one, a lot of people have seen the Corona Razor Tooth 10-inch saw, and I used to use that. I found this at an Ace Hardware. This thing here is the same saw, but a 7-inch variety. And it's just a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter. And it's got the same blade, same teeth on it. Still same, like, side curved thing. And it's exactly the same, just smaller and lighter. And these are the tools I believe that I would need in a long-term bug-out situation. The second C in the 10 C's of survivability is combustion device. And I'm going to carry a few of them in this bag. One is my primary, which is a very large 1/2 inch by 6 inch ferro rod. Comes with a nice handle made out of paracord, so that covers cordage well. But also it has a nice striker on it. This thing throws really nice sparks for for what it is. There we go. Once you get the covering off. And this thing will last a lot of strikes. I mean, a lot of strikes. Alright. Next thing there is some of these, what do you call it? UCO stormproof matches. There's 25 matches in here. But these things will burn. They will not go out. Wind can't blow them out. You can't put them out with water. They are amazing. I wouldn't use these in a first situation, but they'd be great in a situation where the lighters don't work, which is the next item. I have two Bic lighters, an orange one and a white one. I doesn't really care about the color, but it's nice to have those because sure flame is better than just about anything. The next thing is just a Fresnel lens. The sun is free. It's almost always available. And if you can use this, you don't waste material and resources off of your other items. This is my little backup ferro rod. This is also part of my EDC. This is on my keychain all the time. That's why there's a whistle included. That's part of the comms section. But this has a tiny little ferro rod on it. It's like an old Boy Scout one. But I have this just in case. This is always with me when I leave the house. And that is the combustion section. Right. The third C in Dave Canterbury's 10 C's of Survivability is cover. Now cover is everything that keeps you from the elements. It can be the clothes that you're wearing, it's overhead cover, it's the bed you sleep on, everything like that. Now, for me, I think cover is very important. That's the reason I go with a full-fledged tent instead of a tarp. And I go with, like, I want to have a good night's sleep. First item in my cover is, of course, this right here is the MMS sleep system. This is the old one with the Gore-Tex bivy, the green bag, and the black bag. This is the black bag and the Gore-Tex cover, not the green bag. I'm probably going to add the green bag back in because winter's coming. My little snug back bag takes up more room. It's I used to use that instead of the green bag, but it takes up more room than just everything in this one package. This is a little bit heavier, but I'm willing to take the weight in the wintertime. So the MMS sleep system, best sleep system in the world if you can afford the weight. Second part of my cover item is the Snug Pack Ionosphere tent. This is a single person bivy style tent. It's got two hoops. It's smaller than an actual tent, but I think it's bigger than a bivy. I have used this quite a bit. Never had a single problem with it. It only weighs about 3.5, maybe slightly less pounds. You can probably get less if you take out this pack, because this stuff sack is kind of heavy. But this here is my favorite tent that I own, and I own a few. This would be the one I would probably put in the bag no matter what. I do have the smaller Stratosphere, but that just doesn't hold enough. This here you can put your pack and everything in with you. And this here is actually 100% wind and water resistant, so I don't have to worry about getting in a storm with it. Right here, these are vacuum sealed, and this isn't done to save space. It's more just to make sure they're waterproof. But this is two complete changes of clothes. There's, well, not two complete. There's a pair of pants, a shirt, a t-shirt, socks, and underwear in this one, and there's a winter shirt and long underwear in this one. So I can be good for summer, or I can be good for winter, all in one go. But I can always take one of these out and just have the summer one, or take one for the winter. But I like to have them both in just in case. This weighs about 1.5 pounds a piece, maybe less. And then this is one of those poofy pack jackets that pretty much folds into its own pocket. It doesn't weigh anything at all, and it's very warm. This right here would come out if it was wintertime, but I like to have this in the bag all the time. I think your bag should be 4 seasons all the time if you can possibly do that. Now, along with this, I also have a sleeping pad, but I'm adding that into a different chapter. A different C, which I'm calling Comfort, which is going to be C I'm adding to the thing. Alright, so with cover, you want to make sure that you have seasonal appropriate clothing, waterproof clothing. You'd also want to have rain gear. I have a poncho, which is not on the table, but it's just, you've seen it before, it's just the Frog Togs poncho. I also have like one of those little disposable ponchos that are like you buy at Walmart for 99 cents that I carry with me every day in my back pocket as an EDC. So that's all my cover elements. the fourth C of survivability, is container. Now, David Canterbury also says that the container should be made of steel or metal. He didn't like aluminum, but I believe that I think you should also have other containers, because you can use the steel containers to sterilize your water, but having other containers to contain the water is also a good thing. They don't have to be steel as far as I'm concerned. The first thing I have, of course, is the Stanley little camp pot. I just stuck it inside one of these little cups. It's also stainless steel. Now, this is the Ozark Trail version. I think it's as good as the one that you can buy that is 3 times the price. I mean, I've boiled water in these. This is a new one. I bought it for this bag, but I've got several others. Now, the one thing about this Stanley thing that I will say is it's got this lid that will fit on the cup as well. Now, this Stanley pot comes with 2 coffee pots. Pretty much, I use these for coffee, but I probably will ditch one of them and save the other one and use the rest of the interior thing for space. But right now, this is a new set that I bought specifically for this bag. I have many other ones. And the handle holds the lid on, and that's not a bad little kit all by itself right there. Alright, the second one is this Stanley steel canteen. This wouldn't actually be in the bag. This will actually has a strap, and I'll carry it over my shoulder as I go. I can't find these anymore. I don't know if they've stopped making them or not, but it's a good little canteen. It didn't come with a cup, but it's still a good canteen. Alright, the next thing right there, I have 2 of these outdoor product water bags. Each one of these is a liter. Each one of these has a standard thing right there, so the Sawyer Squeeze or Sawyer Mini will screw onto this, so you can use this as your squeeze bag for dirty water. And I got 2 of them. Each one comes with a carabiner. They don't weigh anything. They don't take up much space when you fold them up, but they're actually a liter of water each that you can carry. Next thing I have here is a outdoor products. This is just a dry bag. This is a 5-liter dry bag. You can use this for water, but you can also use it like just to store other things. It folds up very small if you want it to. This thing here just doesn't take up much room at all. It's actually waterproof. You can put water in it, but you can also use it anything you want to keep dry. Next thing I have is this thing right here. This is a 8-liter folding bucket. Comes in a little carry case. Hope you can see this on camera, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get out, but once you get it out, this thing will stand up on its own. It's more like a wash basin than anything. You can use this to clean and do camp chores. It actually has, it's cool because it actually has a handle here. It has multiple things here. It has a handle here so you can hold this and tip it. Once it's full of water, it will stand up, so it makes a good dog bowl or anything. And it, as you saw, it all fits in this little bag, so it's great. And the last one is this very large water jug. I'm not 100% sure who makes this. I bought this online, and I think I paid like $2 for it. But it holds quite a bit of water, and it also is small and doesn't take up a lot of space or weight. I also have one thing that I'm debating, and that is my little folding frying pan. I don't know, this is probably going to go in, but I'm not 100% sure yet. This thing's been with me a lot. It doesn't weigh a whole lot. It's got folding handles. You can put stuff in it so it doesn't really take up a lot of space in the bag. But this thing right here, I plan to catch fish if I have to, so this would be great for that. So this will help. I'll say right now 85% chance it's going in, but I'm not 100% sold on it yet. But these will be the containers for the bag. Maybe this. Alright, the fifth, or the first 5 C's of survivability is cordage. Cordage is also something that's hard to make in the wild. You can make natural cordage out of fibrous material, but it's a pain in the butt. It's nice to carry a lot of cordage with you, and I do. A lot of people carry just this right here, which is paracord. This is the first one I carry. This is just an 18-foot hank that I use a lot. I actually have these, which I've not had to open yet, because this right here, I don't cut it unless I absolutely have to. This can be used multiple times. You can be broken down. This is the actual military paracord that has the 7 inner strands. And so are these two. Each one of this is 18 feet. Each one of these is 50 feet, which is plenty of paracord because I have other stuff. I also have the number 36 bank line. This stuff here has like a 350 some breaking strength, which is pretty good for standard stuff. It's not as strong as paracord, but you know, you don't need that strength all the time, and this is very good stuff. Make sure you get the real tarred Mariner's bank line that actually, when you smell it, you can smell the tar on it. Some of the stuff you buy out there doesn't even qualify as bank line as far as I'm concerned. Then also have this right here. This is Rothco cordage. This is Rothco rope. It's not exactly climbing line, but this is item number 315, black 3/8, 100 feet. Now you could climb on this if you absolutely had to. I wouldn't want to. It's got 120 pound working strength and 1,200 pound test breaking strength. So you probably could climb with this, but it would be great for, you know, sometimes you want stronger rope. You can rig a hammock with this. You can do all sorts of things. You can make a hammock out of this if you weaved it in and out of itself. I also have stuff like twine and some like needle and thread and fishing line, but I'm not including that in with cordage. But this is the cordage I plan to carry in the bug-out bag. Alright, the 6th C in the 10 C's of survivability, according to Dave Canterbury, is a cotton bandana. Now, for this I have a little bit more than that. I actually have 2 cotton bandanas. These are 100% cotton, and these are here. This one goes with me everywhere. It's an AVC bandana. This one here is another one. This is. I also have 2 other ones that are already in my old bug-out bag, which will probably be coming out and going into the new one. But I also carry 3 100% cotton washcloths. These are just as good as the cotton bandanas for making shard material. They're thicker and more absorbent if you need to clean up something like a or use it for blood or anything. They can be charred. They soak up more water than the actual cotton bandanas do. And these can be used in more sanitary conditions than these can. I like to have these around, but don't forget, you can also use like your other things. A lot of people carry like the little towelettes and things. Those can be used like wet wipes. You take a wet wipe, most of them have some alcohol in them. You can dry them out and use those as a charred material as well. So if you wipe down with a wet wipe, save it, dry it, and then char it. It can be used that way. Another thing I found out is you can take these 3 cotton bandanas, and I don't know if this would work or not, but I saw this on Really Big Monkey. It was his idea. But you can, if you were stranded in a place where you only had salt water, you could like put water in your metal pot, boil it, have this sitting on top to collect the steam that comes off, and then you could wring this out into another pot and have at least salt-free water. That was the theory that he had, and I think it would work. It would be a lot easier than trying to build a desalinator on primitive tools. But this is the cotton cloth that I carry. Alright. The 7th C of the 10 C's of survivability is compass. Now, I carry one of these little Coughlin's emergency whistle thing. It's got a compass built into it. This is like an EDC thing. This is on my keychain all the time. I always have this with me. And it has a thermostat or a thermometer, whistle, little button compass, and it has like a magnifying glass, so that can also be used in the combustion department. But that would never be my primary source of direction. I would my recommended and preferred compass is this is the Cento MC2 compass. It's the same one that Dave Canterbury recommends, so it's fitting that it would be in a 10C video. The cool thing about this is this has the mirror for sighting, for sighting the compass. It also can be used as a signal mirror, so that could be in the comms thing. I put a thing of ranger beads on it. I also have a set of ranger beads that I carry on my keychain every day. This has got the declination, adjustable declination. I got the little tool to change it on the fly if I have to. Hopefully I'll never have to. But this can be used, as Dave said, for as a grooming device. You can see yourself. You can see areas of your body that you're not able to see normally. This is probably one of the better compasses on the market. Now, as a backup to the backup, I actually bought this on clearance at Walmart. I have no idea because it's still in the package, but this was $2.50 on clearance. This is a waypoint compass from Ultimate Survival Technologies. I tested it. It does point north. It does have a magnifying glass on it. It's got some of the graduations and the markings on it. I don't know how well it would work. It says it has a 2-year limited warranty on it, but I would take this out of the package and throw it in as an emergency backup just to test. I don't know, I've never heard of a MC2 compass going out so badly that you needed a backup, but I just wanted to show this to you because these things were on clearance at Walmart, and I bought like 5 of them because they were so cheap. And those would be the compasses I carry. This one, of course, like I said, goes with me everywhere, but it's mainly there for the whistle and the other tools. This right here would be the primary compass, and if you can afford it, because these can be sometimes expensive, that's the one I would suggest you go with. And those are the compasses I plan to carry. Alrighty. 8th C of survivability that Dave Canterbury recommends is what he calls a candling device, or is a light source. Now, sometimes you can get lucky with lights. I bought this thing on clearance because they get these in at Walmart all the time for Christmas, and they always buy too many of them. So this here is a little headlamp. It's a 100 lumen, 50 lumen headlamp, a 200 lumen flashlight, and batteries. And I got this on clearance for $5. This is the regular Ozark Trail one. Hell, it's worth $5 just for the 6 or so batteries in there, as far as I'm concerned. The one I carry though is similar to this one. This is a 200 lumen headlamp, but this also has a high, low, and if you hold it down, has red. This is also in my bag. This is the one I carry, but I'm just saying, look for deals after Christmas. You can usually find things like this. I use a little Ozark Trail lantern. This also was a after Christmas pack. Came with this, a little batteries, and a little cheap multi-tool, which I gave to a friend. But this is a 100 lumen lantern, which steps down and gradually turns off. But this is great for lighting up your tent area. This is my EDC light. This is a Task 800L. It's a rechargeable, it doesn't use batteries. But this is an 800 lumen light in this little tiny thing. This goes with me everywhere I go. But this will probably be with me wherever I go and use the bag too. So I'm adding this in. The 3 items that I would carry, this would probably not be that, but you know, it's actually, I think it would be good enough. It would be this, and this is flat, so it doesn't take up a lot of room, and you can hook a carabiner and hang it. And then my 800 lumen one, and then my little headlamp here. You want red. It's just an important thing to have. Now, you've seen some of my other lanterns. I had that little packable lantern. I still have those, but they're in other bags right now. And I've given one away to another friend. But these 3 items are the lighting choices, the candling devices I've chosen to carry. I just wanted to show you this to let you know that you can possibly find deals. I'm going to combine the last 2 C's of survivability because they don't really need a lot of explanation by themselves. That is a canvas needle and cargo tape. You know, everybody knows what duct tape is. Everybody knows what a needle is. I have this this is almost half a roll of the this is the T-Rex brand of duct tape. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's just as strong as the Gorilla tape that everybody seems to love, but it's slightly cheaper. And cheap is where I'm about, unfortunately. Where I live, it's hard to find large canvas needles, but you know, you can get by with a needle like this. The important thing is that it has a very large eye and a very sharp, strong body. You want to be able to put like thicker cordage through here to make repairs. And this thing has a very big eye, and it has a very sharp point on it. You can tape, Dave Canterbury says, duct tape this to the back of your knife scabbard and you'll never be without it, which I plan on doing. I also have this little, used to be an actual case for cigarette papers, but I made a sewing kit out of it. It's got various different needles in it and thread. It's got a few safety pins. This does have 2, I put them in there, 2 of the cell needles that I managed to find. See how they have the wedge on the tip of them. It also has very large sewing needles. But it has a couple extra buttons, some smaller needles. I just took little things of thread. I even got a curved needle here in case you had to sew yourself up, which, trust me, would not be pleasant, but you have it, that option. Make sure that you sanitize that first. Either stick it in a fire or if you have the like, boil it in water or something before you go sewing your skin up. And I'm not giving you the advice to sew yourself up, but if you're bleeding to death, there's an option. But what I would do is I would take this one, put it on the back of my knife, and then still have this one with me in my pack. But, the ability to repair your gear and your clothing, specifically, is important. Now this tape right here, like I said, is T-Rex tape. I don't know if they have it all over the country like they do Gorilla Tape, but this is sold at my local Walmart. This is about $1 less than the Gorilla duct tape, and I think it's just as good. And that's the last 2 C's of survivability. Alright. This is a C that I'm adding in on top of the 10 C's. I hope David doesn't get mad at me about this, but there's things that I think that are extra, that are helpful. These aren't necessary for survival, but you ask a retired veteran if comms isn't important, and that's what this C is, comms. You want to be able to know what's going on, especially in an emergency situation. Or if you need to be rescued, you definitely want to have the ability to communicate. First and foremost, you'll have your cell phone, of course, which I don't have on the table, but everybody these days has a cell phone. But that isn't a 100% guarantee that it'll work. If your cell phone is out and you have to resort to this, at least you have that option. I have like a little, one of these little FMRS, GMRS radios. It's supposed to have a 16-mile range. Has about a mile range if you're lucky. But I have more than one bug-out bag. My friend would have the other one. Would have the in his bag. And this here is good. There it broadcasts on all the FMRS and GMRS stations. You can keep track with people in your group if you split up. But it's also good because rescuers sometimes use these radios, and you could probably find their channel. Now, I do carry a whistle. You saw it earlier. But if you're in the woods and you want to be heard, this doesn't take up a lot of space, and I am not going to blow this. This is one of those little klaxon air horns. You put this on here and push down, and it is very loud. Let's see here. It says it can be heard by over. It doesn't have the decibels on there, but this is very loud. And 3 blasts of this would definitely get someone's attention. I keep this thing off of that because I don't want it to accidentally depress. And you want, if you want to be heard, they'll hear that. I have the Midland emergency radio. This is the one that has the AM/FM weather radio, solar panel, and crank. And it also has a very nice flashlight. This flashlight's over 100 lumens. And it has it flashes SOS. It has a high setting of 100 lumens, a low setting of 50, and it flashes SOS. Also, you can plug a USB in there and use this to charge devices. I don't know how well that would work. It'd be a lot of cranking, but you could do it. The important thing I have this for is like the weather radio. And it's one of the better ones. I used to have that other one. This one here has the ability to charge with solar, so I switched it out for this one. And then, if you wanted to be seen at night, I used to have those sky blazer flares that had the little chain that you pulled. But I broke down and went for the full-on Orion flare gun. This is bulky, but it doesn't weigh anything. It's light as a feather. The flares on these things don't have they have a much longer shelf life than those sky blazer flares. Once those things expire, they do not work anymore. These are fairly cheap and easy to replace, and they have much longer shelf life. So you can these are going to work when you need them. Pretty much, if you want to be seen at night, if there's a helicopter or something, this will be the way to go. Not 100% sure I'd keep this in my bag once in an emergency. I could take this out and put it in like a pocket or something. You could always put the flares in separate. I don't ever suggest, and I'm going to show you that this is empty. Never keep a flare in it, because this thing is not exactly the best firearm in the world. No idea what would happen if you fire this at someone. It'd probably scare them, but that's about it. But comms is important. I also have, as you saw earlier, the mirror on the MC2 compass, which I would use as a signal mirror. So that's also, and I also have that little whistle that was part of my EDC. that has the fire steel that you saw earlier. But this would be my comms kit. Adding, of course, that you can also build a signal fire or have a cell phone if it's working. But this would be the stuff I'd carry. The next C that I'm adding to the 10 C's of survivability is something I call cooking. Now, a lot of people cook over an open campfire, but some places I also go camping a lot, so I carry this for that too. Some places have burn bans. We had a very dry summer this last one, so campfires were banned. So you need a stove. Now, I actually carry a few things. This is a UCO titanium spork. This is the same thing. It's actually a fork-spoon combo. I don't know why they call it a spork when it's not actually a spork. But it has a little knife edge on here, a spoon, fork, and this weighs nothing. But this is actually a good eating tool. I used to have that little Ozark Trail fold-out eating tool, and I still have that, and it's nice. It doesn't weigh anywhere near as little as this does. This weighs practically nothing. This has seen a lot of use right here. This is one of those Espit stoves. This would only be used as an absolute last resort where I couldn't build an actual fire. But this here has been, like I said, this has seen a lot of use. It's got some dirt and stuff in it, but it has the fuel tabs folded inside. You just set your pot on top, and you can cook that way. And soot is getting all over my table. And you've seen this before too. This is a little sterno stove. You open this thing up, fold it out like this or here. You just get the things in there. This has a folding thing up here. Makes a little grill top. You can set your pots on there. And the cool thing about this is you can build a wood stove. I mean, you can build a wood fire in here. This thing here is low grade metal, but it will reduce, a campfire is not going to melt it. I've done it. I've had lots of fires in this thing. This counts as a stove if there's a burn ban, but you can still burn wood. They have like steel ones that are smaller and everything, but this thing here doesn't weigh that much. Once it's folded up, it doesn't take a whole lot of space in your bag. And let's see here. It packs flat. And these are here were like $7. I can't find them anymore. You can still buy them online, but Walmart doesn't carry them anymore. But these are here are dirt cheap compared to some of those more fancy stoves that you can buy that are bio stoves. And this works, so why not use it? So cooking is the next C that I wanted to show about. Also remember that your metal pots, it would also be part of the cooking and container thing. So they would be part of your cooking thing as well. And that's the cooking area. Alright, the next C that I want to add to the 10 C's of survivability is something I call comfort. Something you do not need at all if you want to rough it, but personally I don't want to rough it. As Dave Canterbury says, if I can, I want to smooth it. Personally, I think this one is borderline. This could be cover or comfort, because you definitely don't want to sleep on the ground. And this here is very comfortable. So this is the Climate Static V insulated sleeping pad. This gives you an R rating of 4.4. This is about 2.5 inches thick. Definitely big enough. I've slept on it many times. This is probably my favorite piece of gear that I own. Like I said, this is also insulation from the ground, so this is both cover and comfort. Now this is purely comfort. This is just a little inflatable pillow. This is just a little bag that unzips, and it has a little inflatable bladder inside that you can blow up and make a pillow out of. Which is not necessary. You could actually stuff a shirt in this, or like stuff ground matter or leaves into it to make a pillow. But it doesn't weigh much. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's purely a comfort item, and I like to have it. This is a little pack towel. This is a comfort item, but this could also be used to soak up water or wring out to make water, to obtain fresh water. So it's also a survival item. But this is a pretty good size one. It comes in its own little pack. It's quick drying. It's almost like a chamois. I used to use an actual ShamWow, but this thing in here was larger. It actually cost less than a ShamWow. I think I paid less than $5 for this. Not a needed item, but this is I have electronics, and this here is a 21 watt solar panel. I used to have that little 10 watt one. This is an upgrade. Charges things faster. And of course with that I also have these little rechargeable batteries. These are mostly AAA. I realize that most of my stuff now only uses AAA batteries, so I don't really need the AA's anymore. I still have them, but I just don't carry them in the bag because everything I use has, takes AA's. This is the charger for the AA's. I actually have two of these, and I actually have another one that'll charge the larger rechargeable batteries, like the the ones for bigger flashlights and things. But it'll work with these as well, but it's just bigger, and I just carry two of these. Alright, we had a little bit of a battery failure there, so we're going to start this part over. I started right here. These are called Whizzy Wipes. These are little compressed towels. Let me show you what they look like. They look like little mints, but God help you if you actually was to pop one of these in your mouth. These are little compressed tissue wipes. Once you get these wet, they unfold into a pretty good sized cloth. These are great for toilet paper. They're great for anything that you need for wiping. I wouldn't use these whole ones. There's 100 in this bag. I wouldn't bring the whole thing. If you go to the store, if you've seen those M&M Minis candies, you can buy one of those. They come in a little tube, and each one of those tubes will hold about 15 of these, and it's a perfect size for it. They also come in a larger wipe. These are Whizzy Wipes large. This one here has 20 of them in it, and these are 12 by 15 size cloths. These here are good for actually cleaning your body up. I got these to use instead of the what do you call it? Those little cloths I used to wear. Those. But anyway, these are here. I carry these. These don't take up much room at all. And it's nice to have, and also these things here are compressed material. You could char this. You could use this as kindling for a fire before it gets wet. These can be pulled apart without having to, wet them. And trust me, I've hit a ferro rod on one of these things, and they do burn. Right, these next two things go together. You've seen something like this before, I think. This is my little Altoids tin that I carry a whole lot of SD chips on it. And on these SD cards I have TV shows, movies, music, all sorts of things that I enjoy. And I consider like entertainment part of comfort. I can play, I used to actually carry a little tablet, a little 7-inch tablet that I could watch these on. But I found this little thing. This is made for trail cams, but this has both for Apple and Galaxy, and it takes SD and micro SD cards, and this can plug right into my phone, so I can watch movies and stuff on my phone screen with this. And it doesn't. I mean, this is small; it doesn't weigh much. So this is my comfort items. All right. The next C that I'm adding to the C's of survivability is what I call care or first aid. You've seen my first aid video, I hope. I have a pretty long first aid kit on my channel, about long video about first aid. This is the one I usually carry in my bags. So here has I've done a video on this. It hasn't changed since then. It has a little Primacare face CPR shield that I use as a zipper pull. I have a much more extensive first aid kit in my car, and if stuff was to really hit the fan, I would probably switch this out for the roll, the Black Hawk bug out roll for medical roll. But this right here was for everyday use and camping and everything. Now, care is also taking care of yourself. So, like for water, I carry the Sawyer Squeeze water filter. Controversially, I do not recommend the Sawyer Mini filter as much as I do this. Mini's good, but it has a much less flow rate, can get clogged faster. This right here has a bigger lifespan. They claimed when this thing first came out that it would filter 1,000,000 gallons instead of 100,000. They don't say that anymore, but I still think that this has a much longer lifespan as long as you take care of it. And of course I have the Sawyer bag that goes with it, although those other bags that I had earlier, those will also work for it. So this can also be considered in the container department. As a backup, I have one of these Aquamira Frontier water filters. This only is good for 30 gallons, and it doesn't filter to the standard that the Sawyer does, but this thing here is like, it's nice to have a backup. And if you're really worried, I also have the Coleman water purification kit. It has pretty much the, this is the neutralizing tablets to take the chlorine flavor away, and then you have the actual, active ingredient here in this one. Probably don't like, I probably don't like the glass bottles. I would probably put them inside one of these things to keep it from breaking. But and I'd rather boil my water than use this. But this is also like, along with this, is a last resort. I recently did a video on trauma kits, and I showed this one in that video. And this trauma kit does not stay in this bug out bag. It stays in my everyday carry bag. But the everyday carry bag is always with me, so if stuff hit the fan, this would come out and go into this bag, because this is far too important in an emergency situation not to have. I would probably just combine these two, take the stuff out of here. There is a little bit of space left. I would probably just, some people say keep your first aid kit and your trauma kit separate. This has another one of those CPR shields on it. Same thing, just different color. The Primacare are the ones I like the best. They actually have a one-way valve, and they're actually much better as far as I'm concerned. Now, like I said, this is the C I call Care. You also would probably add some other things to this, like, I don't know. You might want to you could put your food in here, but I'm consider that as a separate category, which I'll show you in a minute. But self-care or just care or first aid is this next C that I'm adding. Alright, the next C that I'm adding to the 10 C's of survivability is C for calories. Calories is something you probably don't 100% need. This is going to have two parts, by the way. This is actual calories you carry with you, and then something for obtaining calories. Alright. A lot of people think out there that you don't need to carry calories, because if you're just, like most bug out bags are based on 3 days, and you can go much more than that without eating. But, I prefer to be comfortable as much as I can, and this is what I have. Now, this has been seen before. This is my little red food bag. I've never actually opened it and showed you what was in it, so I'm going to do that now. Inside here, I have a Mountain House lasagna, that's one. Mountain House biscuit and gravy, that's two. Another biscuit and gravy, that's three. Another lasagna, four. And a Mountain House beef stew. Alright. These are all the smaller one-serving ones that you can get at Walmart that they don't sell anymore. They now serve the big two-serving ones, so those are the ones I'm buying, but I still have these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And scrambled eggs with bacon. That's 6 Mountain House meals right there. This bag is also considered a container because it's waterproof. It's a dry bag. I also have the SOS rations. These are the ones that are the 9 bars that are separate, and you can eat 3 a day, and it's supposed to have, what's here, quite a lot of calories in them, 3,600 or 3,800, something like that. But these are here. People call them the lifeboat rations. They have they taste like a shortbread cookie. I've actually eaten them. They're not terrible. Then I have this thing right here, which I'm not 100% sure I'm going to carry. This is the this is the Ultimate Survival Technology Emergency Food Ration Bars. This is 2,400 calories. The thing about this is all one big brick. It shows that it's divided, but you have to pretty much break it. So I don't particularly like that. But this is plenty of calories to get you to where you're going. And this is just a part 1. There's also part 2 of obtaining calories, which I'm going to show you next. Because you want to be able to, if something happens and you're out there more than you have to be, or if, say, your bug out location is compromised and you're pretty much, having to find your way, this is a good start while you're setting up a camp where you can start accumulating calories, which I'll show you next. Alright, this next C might be a little bit controversial because it's part 2 to calories, but it's also part 1 to another C, which I'll talk about. First of all, to obtain calories, you need to be able to hunt, or you need to be able to trap, or you need to be able to fish. You've seen this in a video, probably. This is a little small animal trap that my grandfather gave me. It's made for possums and raccoons, I think, but this is actually really good. It's got a just take it out. It won't fit in the actual trap kit, and I'm not 100% sure if I'll carry it, but I wanted to show it off because my grandfather gave it to me and I like it. Alright, this is a little trap kit. I used to carry a fanny pack that actually, would go around, but it kind of got in the way of the waist strap of my backpack. So I got this. This is a leg strap. This thing straps onto your body, around your waist, and then straps to your leg. I consider it the cooler idea of a belt pouch. And this is a trapping kit that I put together. So you might have seen some of this in another video. My very first bug out bag video did have that fanny pack trap kit in it, but it has two little spools of snare wire. These are galvanized mouse traps. There's two here, and there's two here. And these are very strong. They will kill a squirrel. They will kill like a small rodents. You can definitely, if you bait those properly, you can definitely get animals with that. Got split shot sinkers, and I got these little hook leads. There's 6 fishing line and lead hooks with that, and I got 2 of those in here, I think. I got more snare wire. Snare wire is important. Okay. Here I have a little lighter. This is it'll also be in the combustion department. This is a butane lighter. There's a little pocket here, so I included it. Let's see, is that everything? I think there's another roll of snare wire here, but this is the red stuff that I just threw in because I couldn't figure out what else to put in this flap. There's a zipper back here, and this zipper here has these yo-yo fishing reels, which I don't think I need to explain these to anybody at this point. If you can't catch fish with a yo-yo fishing reel, then there's something seriously wrong with you. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So you can definitely set up like a trap line with this. I also have a thing of different sized fishing hooks. And that is the trapping and fishing aspect of this. I used to carry that little collapsible fishing pole and tackle box, but believe it or not, these blow fishing away. These are here just, you have that, you don't need it. Now for hunting. This may be controversial, but a .22 rifle, a takedown .22 rifle, is a great hunting tool. This is not the one I used to have. I used to have the Ruger, oh not the Ruger, the Henry takedown SR7, or SR7, AR7, I'm sorry. The Henry AR7, the little survival rifle, which is great. But this is the Ruger 1022 takedown, which is, in my opinion, a better rifle, and it's in the Magpul backpacker stock. So it's all contained in one package. You just put this together and click it. Since the sights are on the barrel instead of up here, it remains, zeroed. This thing has a magazine in it, and the backpacker model. In the thing here, there are 3 more 10-round magazines inside of this, so you have a capacity of 40 rounds right here. This thing is so easy to take apart. You just take it down like that. This goes in, this little nub right here goes in here, and you just click it, and that's all together in one package. It doesn't weigh as much as the stock that comes with it. Still weighs a little bit more than the AR7 did, but I'm willing to take the weight for the much better rifle. I also have 100 rounds of these little CCI mini mags. These are the hollow point ones. You can definitely take animals with this. People claim you can take squirrels with this. I wouldn't do that unless I was starving, because if you're out on your own, you can't you can't take a chance of losing food and killing animals for no reason. But this little trap kit, I'm going to show you how it looks on me. I think it looks cooler than at least the fanny pack that I used to have. See, look. It just goes around your leg. And since it's low like this, it doesn't interfere with your waist strap on your pack. It's I think Much better than the fanny pack I was using. This next scene is going to be very controversial. I hope people don't be offended, but yeah, in an emergency situation or an SDFH situation, where there's severe rioting, looting, or panic, this is probably going to be something you're going to need. And I call this C Combat. All right, on here is my everyday carry pistol. You've probably at least seen these before. This is the Canic TP9 9mm. I carry this every day. I am a concealed carry permit holder. Also part of my everyday carry. This is Black Hawk pepper spray. It's supposed to be one of the hottest ones you can get, but hopefully I never have to try it to find out. These two would not be in my bag, but these will be on me at all times. In the bag I actually have this, which is Frontier Vision bear spray, bear attack deterrent. It's good for what it says, but it's also good for crowd control. If you're being attacked by more than one person, this thing sprays in has a very wide arc and a very long spray, and this will get people off of you. And it's non-lethal, so you don't have to go to the Canic. Killing people is the absolute last resort you ever want to think about. Another thing, I'm torn between this. This is not going to go in the bag, but this may be on me. This is usually in my car or truck. This is my truck. This is my vehicle gun. This is the Mossberg Shockwave. I have both a laser and a red dot sight on it because shooting from the hip is a pain in the butt, and it doesn't have a stock, so it's kind of hard to aim. The laser makes aiming much better. If this was in my car and a situation arose where I had to get home, this would definitely go on my shoulder, or go in the bag somewhere. Then of course I have what you just saw in the last one, which is also part of part of the calories, but the .22 rifle and ammo can be used in a combat situation if absolutely necessary. The thing about all this is the Mossberg is the 20 gauge version, which is the one I recommend. The 12 gauge with actual self-defense ammo like slugs or number 3 buckshot kicks like a mule in 12 gauge. So 20 gauge is a much easier to handle load. Like I said, controversial combat. Most people don't talk about that, but I'm just going to put this out there and say that yes, it's a possibility. So if you want to be prepared, I would go this way. And that's the C for combat. All right. Alright, this last C that I'm adding is called just C for catch-all, which is just random stuff right there that I like and want to have with me. Alright, stuff right there that's handy but not necessarily fits in any other category. Some of it might, but let me show you. First thing right there that would probably fit both in this category and in cover is a very good pair of gloves. These are the leather hard knuckle tactical gloves, but they're also good for work gloves. And on top of that, for cover, it would also be, for catch-all, is a boonie hat. Good to have. Keep the sun off your head and your eyes. To go with the boonie hat, I also have this mesh mosquito mask. I try to keep one of these in all my bags because I absolutely hate bugs. Alright. Next on, I have some of these Max Repel bug spray. That's 40% DEET. Say what you want, but it works. Then I have, of course, doesn't really fit into the other thing, but this is the Sawyer syringe for the backwashing of the Sawyer. This could be in cutting tools as well. This is an old-timer carving jack. You might have seen some of these. There's also a much more expensive version. This has all the same blades in it, and it's made by Charade, which is old-timer. This has all the only real cutting blade it has that you might be able to use for anything is the whittling blade, but it has curved blades for spoon making and stuff. And I consider it more of a catch-all than an actual cutting blade for that. I have a little gun cleaning kit here. That's used mainly for just keeping my pistol and the .22, because I have both those brushes in here for that. It doesn't do much for the shotgun, but hopefully the shotgun's not something you use every day. 2 books that I will carry with me. One, of course, everybody knows, the small SAS survival guide. This thing here is handy to have. But the other one a lot of people don't think about is this one here. This is the pocket reference guide. This has tables for all sorts of things, calculations and stuff. This is something you want with you. Both of them are small. They don't take up a lot of space. I have, this could also go in the combat section. This is this camouflage face paint. Don't know, it's also good for hunting, so it could also go in the category section, or the calorie category section. I have two 10,000 milliamp batteries to recharge my electronic gear. I have, this is weird, but this is a, what do you call it? This is a 12 volt car auxiliary plug, but this has a USB plug in it where I can actually plug this into my solar panel and perhaps charge car batteries. It would take a long time, but you know, if you found a car that you needed to charge, it could be done. This is just a USB, both of these are here, are USB cord extenders, extension cords. These are just used for the solar panel because you can actually stretch things out. If you don't want to put your phone in the direct sun, you can stretch it out and do it that way. You've seen this before. This is just a piece of a bike inner tube to make razor bands out of. Doesn't take up hardly any space and it's handy to have. These are just extra USB wires for the solar panel and charging everything. This is a Smith's Pocket Power Plus. The cool thing about this thing is, like the other one, this one has the carbide and the steel or ceramic sharpener. This has a ferro rod that comes out. This has a tiny flashlight on it. I think my battery's dead, but it does sort of, it could be replaced. And it also has the diamond rod and a whistle built into it. The reason I have it is no larger than the other Smiths and has all the extra tools, so you might as well have it. Now, I have extra changes of clothes in my bag, and if I have to do laundry, I do have some of these little plastic clips. They weigh nothing, they're not like an actual clothespin, but these will hold clothes up on a clothesline if I wanted to do that. I probably wouldn't carry this many of them, but this is how many I have. So, just wanted to show them to you. Another thing I have is if you're in the urban situation and you're leaving, having to get out and you need to get water, you've seen this before, a 4-way Silcott key. This thing right here allows you to use, stores who have water spigots outside, but not necessarily handles. You can get in and get the water using this. And it's something I recommend for any urban bag. That is the final C I'm adding to Dave Canterbury's 10 C's, and I'm adding to my bug out bag. Alright, I'm going to put the bag together and show you, first of all, I'm going to show you which bag I'm going to use. The bag I'm going with is my Kelty Red Cloud 90. I actually have that other bag that was made by Mossy Oak. It's a copy of the 911 Rush bag. But this has larger capacity, has a better suspension system. Once you have it on, it's more comfortable. You have to carry extra weight. And, I think it has better organization for all the different gear I'm going to have. So this is the bag I'm going to have. I'm going to put everything together, and then I'll show you the bag when I'm done. Alrighty. This is the Rothco Red Cloud, this is the Kelty Red Cloud 90, completely loaded down with the bug out bag interior, everything I showed. Weighed in, this thing weighs 52 pounds, which isn't great, but I've hauled it before and I know I can. And this is, like I said, this is pretty much one of those last ditch bags where you need it. You gotta have it, you gotta have it. Now, stuffing the MMS sleep system into this sleeping bag pouch was not the easiest thing in the world, but it does fit. Just make sure when you pack up and take down, you give yourself an extra 5 minutes to do that. Otherwise, you might be dragging your sleeping bag. Luckily, it's got a Gore-Tex bivvy, so you're fine with that. This bag right here, I believe, would give you everything you needed to, in an emergency situation. This on top of the trap kit, which will be separate, of course, which I showed you earlier. It's not inside this bag. And this canteen would be outside the bag as well. but on my, carried over my shoulder. Everything else is inside the bag. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give me a comment or do a like. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And thank you.
Staying alive, staying alive.